Nella I'd like meeting to order. Good evening, everyone, and I'd like to ask Councilman Harley Buzzard if he'd deliver the invitation.
Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening, we ask for your guidance for the decisions that we make for our people. We ask that you bless our people, bless our leaders of the nation, bless our troops, and keep them safe. Let us remember our ancestors that died on the trail. Let us not forget. Keep us all safe as we return to our homes, and we ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Miller, roll call.
George Angler?
Here.
John Baker?
Here.
Jack Baker? Harley Buzzard?
Here.
William Cook? Here. Brad Call? Joe Crittenden?
Here.
Jody Fishinghall? Here. Meredith Frazing? Here. Janelle Fulbright? Here. Don Garvin? Chuck Hopkins Jr.?
Here.
Aaron Gloria Jordan? Present. Curtis Snell? Chris Stokes?
Here.
David Thornton?
Present.
Erica Almont?
Bonnie. We have a quorum. Next order of business is approval of the November 16 regular session minutes.
So moved.
Second. Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ms. Fishinghall?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda under new items number 12. Come out of committee today. It deals with the EPA Atmospheric Mercury Monitoring Service Contract Program. I'd like it to be number 12. And I'd like to also move item number 8 under new business to right before the State of the Nation.
So, item number 8, coming out of Executive Finance, will be the next order of business. Is that the way I understand? And then we would add item number 12 under new business, if that's a resolution authorizing an application to the EPA.
Yes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion on amending the agenda? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item number 8 will be next, and that is, that's a resolution calling for all construction projects to be done by Taro vendors if those vendors are available. And that sponsor is... Mr. Baker, do you want to take that?
Yes, ma'am. This is a resolution which is the will of the council. We've worked on Taro for many years, and we've got a project that's getting ready to start, or could start soon, that we would truly like to see it 100% Taro, if at all possible. We know that the costs need to be competitive, but at the same time, in these economic times, and at all times actually, those dollars that can be spread around to our Taro vendors that can come back to the home communities and be spread around, every $1 million becomes $7 million of economic impact within our local communities, whether it comes to Tahlequah or Stillwell or Westville or Locust Grove or Pryor or wherever the contractors are from. And I appreciate this council passing this to the full council to put out the message that we're serious about it and we really want to use Taro vendors to the highest extent possible. And I put this in the form of a motion.
Second. Any discussion? Yes, Ms. Callen-Watt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, it was brought to my attention by a couple of council members right before the meeting that there are 2 technical questions about the actual legislation. One is relatively simple to fix because Ramona still remains as a specific targeted location or project in the legislation instead of all. But the other, we'll have to go back and research the meeting minutes as to the number of required Taro vendors. However, this is a resolution and it's not an act, so even then it is the will of the council, but it's not binding by law. I would suggest that we table it for 1 month because we're going to have to go do research. And I wasn't aware of it before this meeting, so.
Have a
So
motion
motion
to
to-
table.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
No.
Aye.
Roll call, yes is to table.
Bill Anglin,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Julia Cope,
Yes.
Brad Cobb,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk,
No.
Meredith Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright,
Yes.
Don Garvin,
Yes.
Cherokee Jr.,
No.
Aurora Jordan,
No.
Chris Stokes,
Yes.
Curtis Snell, David Thornton,
Yes.
Kirk Waters.
Yes.
Thirteen yeas, 3 nays.
13 yes, 3 no. Motion to table carries. Okay. That's for the next month's agenda. Next order of business is State of the Nation, Principal Chief Chad Smith.
Can I ask Ms. Fishinghawk to stay for 1 second? Can you stay 1 second?
What about time consuming for Ramon? They're not there. I'll do this.
We'll check that list. Thank you very much. It's December of 2009 for the State of the Nation. It's been our custom, the principles of our meeting is to recognize those families who have lost loved ones in this last month. Raymond Bay Hare is a longtime Cherokee Nation Housing Authority employee and a beloved family member to many Cherokee Nation employees who will miss him greatly. Henry Buzzard, Iowa, brother of Harley. Are there others at the council? Yes.
Bill Fulbright, my husband's uncle. He was 84 years old. He was a veteran of 3 wars, World War II, in Korea and Vietnam, and he passed away last week.
Yes.
Charlie Lee, she's a full-blood Cherokee from Locust Grove.
Are there others? Yes.
Yes, I have 2 in my district, Warren Dewar from Sperry and Sharon Mabey from Sperry. Both Cherokees.
Any others? This time let's have a moment of silence to remember them, their families, and their loved ones. We're done. Also, is our custom and honors to recognize our veterans at this time. This holiday season, we're thankful that our freedom and safety are in the hands of our military that defend our rights. Tonight, we honor 3 of these Cherokee warriors. First is Jerry Woods. Jerry was born in Seminole, Oklahoma in 1940 and enlisted in the United States Air Force in 1959. And after basic training, he was sent to Kessler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. He met and married his wife, Rose Marie Gutierrez. You'll have to help me here. Cazzetti, thank you, Cazzetti. While stationed in Kessler. That's a good Choctaw name, if I know. Where they were sent to Kelly Air Force Base in San Antonio, where he worked on the GEEIA as an air traffic control radar repairman. Jerry joined the Oklahoma Air National Guard in 1966. He attended the Academy of Military Science in Knoxville, Tennessee, and was commissioned as a second lieutenant working as an electronics officer in Oklahoma City. He retired from the Texas Air National Guard in 1995 after achieving the rank of Major 04. Jerry had a total of 31 years of service and was honorably discharged from the United States Air Force in 1963 and was honorably discharged from the Texas Air National Guard in 1995. Jerry now lives and works in Concho, Oklahoma. Jerry, if you'll come forward and allow us to recognize you, express our gratitude. Would you like?
We'll let you do the honors, man. Jerry, it gives us great honor and pleasure to present you with the Cherokee National Medal of Patriotism. It is an award you have earned, and we thank you for your years of service, sir.
Thank you, sir. Would you care to say a word?
Well, this is quite an honor. I treasure my Cherokee heritage. My grandfather, Hugh Robbins, was a Cherokee man, worked in the oil fields, worked hard. He was a good Christian man, and I loved him very much. Thank you for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Anna Marie Wallace was born in Tahlequah, and she's the daughter of Pamela Wallace and attended school in Muldrow, Oklahoma, and Fort Smith, Arkansas. And as a gentleman, I don't recite her birthday. She is enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in July of 2005 and is still in the military service. And his first duty service station was the Marine Air Support Squadron 1 as a diesel mechanic in Okinawa, Japan. And his second duty service was Cherry Point, North Carolina. She volunteered for a tour in Iraq and was deployed in January 2009 and returned home in August of 2009. While serving in Iraq, Anna was part of the female search team Linus, securing entry points and border areas between the countries of Iraq and Syria. Anna Marie Wallace has chosen a career in the military as a United States Marine and has been promoted to the rank of sergeant. Please let us acknowledge your contribution.
We're going to let you do the honors because Marines don't slap. You get credit. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We're very proud and honored to award you the Cherokee National Patriotism. It is an award we have earned to this day. Thank you for your service.
Can you say a word, please?
Most of us, I don't know, I live so far away from here, the only time I come up here is if I break something and I have to come to the hospital. It's just it's an honor to actually get to come here and do something for my heritage, and I'll be Cherokee till the day I die. Thank you. This is my other niece.
There's great moments of honor. Our next veteran is Brad Carson. Brad is a son of Jack and Jimmy Ruth Carson. He was born and raised in Stillwell, Oklahoma. He's a graduate of Baylor University, Oxford University, and University of Oklahoma. From December 2008 to 2009, Brad served on active military duty with the 84th Explosive Ordnance Battalion based in Baras, Iraq, where he was an officer in charge of weapons intelligence teams for 9 southern provinces of Iraq. He's married to Julie Carson. They have a son, Jack. They live in Claremore. The story about Brad Carson is that around Thanksgiving, we received an email that he was wounded or dead in Iraq. And a scurry of emails backward and forward all across the country. Within hours, we heard that he was all right. And in fact, he sent an email that was got forward on. It says, "The news of my demise is premature." It was very clear. You could ask for no better moment to celebrate Thanksgiving. Counting our blessings that our favorite son was okay. He served our nation and our tribe in Congress. He served the Cherokee Nation as CEO of one of our business operations. And he served our nation and our country when his life was in peril on a daily basis. So I want to tell him thank you for his service and for bringing us all a great Christmas gift, his safe return. I also have the honor of nominating Mr. Carson to the Board of Cherokee Nation Businesses. Brad, would you come forward and let's express our gratitude?
Great pleasure and honor to award the Cherokee National. Thank you. It is an award that you have earned and given. And I could see what I was doing. I could do this a little better. I might just hand this to you, Brad. How you want to do that? Okay, there we go. We'll try it again. Thank you very much for your service, sir. It was a great pleasure to present that to you. Sorry,
just a word, perhaps, please. Everyone be seated. I have been in this council chamber so many times, starting 11 years ago when I first was running for Congress. Of course, every month when I would come here as CEO of businesses. It's a great honor to be here tonight. I couldn't have gone to Iraq without the support of the Cherokee Nation, the chief and the deputy chief, all the great counselors and the people of the Cherokee Nation. And, you know, I've been fortunate in life, really with the help of the Cherokee Nation, to have done some interesting things like be in politics. And invariably you get awards and plaques when you serve in those positions. And I can honestly say that I will hold none more dear than the plaque I hold in my hands here today. And for the other people who served both in this war that I was in, previous wars, to the veterans who I've seen up here many times over the course of those council meetings, I can say I never thought I would be on this part of the program myself, but it is an enormous honor for me to be part of it. And while there are times in this room we express differences of opinion about things related to politics or business of the Cherokee Nation, we all in the end have a similar vision for what is a better state, a better people. And I want to thank you all for the great support you gave me, for the work you do, and letting me be some very, very small part of it over the last few years. So thank you so much. Thank you, Chief, so much.
Tell them what the blanket says.
This blanket is made by Penal Program, and it's the Grateful Nations blanket. And it's dedicated to all those who have served their country.
Oh, very good. Thank you so much.
You deserve it, sir.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Before we conclude, we had to make that blanket Cherokee. So we got a little hog fry grease on the box.
I have a program update on the Cherokee Nation Indian Child Welfare Program's Angel Tree Project. Today was the final day to bring in presents for annual angel tree donations. This year we had more than 1,600 angels on the tree. Cherokee Nation and C&E employees adopted just about 1,200 of those angels. To help bridge a gap, we've also contributed more than $25,000 to defray costs so these children can still have a joyous Christmas, even in such difficult economic times, and I believe one of the agenda items tonight is to supplement that fund. The Angel Tree staff have worked incredibly hard this time of year to ensure that every child is taken care of, and I commend them all of our employees and our council members, who celebrate the true spirit of Christmas by donating, shopping, and volunteering their time to these children. In program news, environmental employee Nancy John received the Jan Stevens Award for EPA Excellence. Nancy, are you here? Can we acknowledge you? This award is one of the most prestigious awards in the environmental field for the EPA Region 6. Not only was she recognized by the EPA, but by other tribes in the EPA Region 6, which include Oklahoma, New Mexico, Louisiana, and Texas. 2 employees with the Cherokee Nation's Vocational Rehab Program also received national recognition this month. Brenda Fitzgerald and Alicia Banks were recognized by the Consortia of Administrators for Native American Rehabilitation due to their work to improve the quality of life for American Indians with disability. And I believe they may be here in attendance. Let's give them recognition. In national news, a Cobell class action suit filed over alleged mismanagement of individual Indian money accounts has reached a settlement. This will affect some citizens. The settlement has not yet been approved by the court or Congress. For the latest information, you can contact the Cobell lawsuit hotline at 1-800-961-6109. The impact upon Cherokee citizens is still a question of this time. When we receive updates, we'll post them on the internet, or people can call this 800 number. In news, on December 11th, the Cherokee Nation closed on the purchase of the former Blue Ribbons Downs racetrack property in Salisaw. The property includes 100 acres and is situated within our tribal boundaries. This was a real estate purchase, not a horse track purchase. And to date, we have not made a determination as to the use of the property. In event announcements, Wednesday at 2 p.m., the Cherokee Language Immersion School will perform a Christmas program for their families. The students are preschool through 4th grade. The Christmas program will take place in Sequoia School's old gym and is entitled Little Drummer Boy. The Cherokee Nation's employees will celebrate Christmas this Friday afternoon at the place where they play. The program starts at 1 o'clock. I hope our council members, justices, and commission members can join us. Sequoia Schools is hosting their annual Christmas luncheon. They will serve students and their families from 11 to noon, and Cherokee Nation employees from noon to 1. It's great food for only $3, and I hope to see everyone there. And our youth choir has a program, I believe, in Wagner, and can we find out when that is, so we can announce it by the end of the evening? Sequoia School, the Job Corps is hosting their American Indian Chamber of Commerce monthly luncheon tomorrow in the cafeteria. That's at noon. And we can all reflect back on the 13 Christmas parades many of us made in the last 2 weeks. And we probably ought to have a competition as to the shortest parade and the longest parade and the coldest parade. But I think what is in common in all of them is a great sense of anticipation and joy when we see those little kids wrapped up, big old brown eyes and blue eyes, waiting for Santa Claus to come to the end of the parade. And it begins to remind us really what Christmas is about. But there's two people that enjoy Christmas and a time I want to say time of passing, but a marking of passing of their time. And I believe tonight is Buell Anglin's birthday. Is that right? And Jeanette Fulbright's birthday was Friday. Is that correct? So I think, Speaker, I think it's appropriate for the council to join in a round of happy birthday. And is there another birthday among us?
I believe Chad's birthday is Wednesday, and Bobby Gales is...
I close at 4.
Yeah, and then Bobby Gales is later this week.
Well, let's sing happy birthday to our council members. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Janelle Buell. Happy birthday to you. Hey, you guys that didn't sing, you'll have to do the second chorus. All right? Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you, Chief Smith. Next is action of unfinished business. There's none pending. We'll move on to committee reports. And the first report is David Sutherland of Housing Authority. Good evening, David.
Good evening. Just a few hours since the last time I spoke to you, so I'll have a brief report this evening. The December Housing Authority Board meeting is tomorrow evening at 5:30 in the Allen Harner Conference Room. We have a light agenda. The main topic of conversation will be a revision to the Community Shield program's deductible amount and a small increase in the annual premium. The current deductible is $250 and the current annual premium is $370 for a frame home and $465 on a mobile home. The recommendation to the board will be to raise the deductible to $500, and this year's premium increase will be $35 per year. It's a little less than 1%, so it's not a big increase. The changes are necessary because we've had such a high incident of claims on that program, and we want to get it to a manageable and profitable to where Ameren continues to offer the program. The homes and apartments owned by the Housing Authority have had a substantial increase in claims over the last 3 years also. A major concern is the number of fire losses that we've had. Ameren is going to be working with my staff on ways to decrease those claims through tenant meetings and community meetings and things of that nature in the near future. We've got to get a handle on it or it's going to impact our coverage also. And that's my report for the evening. Just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And if you have any questions, I'll sure try to answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Sutherland? Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Next two reports are by David Stewart, Cherokee Nation Entertainment, and Cherokee Nation Business. Good evening, Mr. Stewart.
Good evening. I'll be reporting for September. And September results were substantially better than September of 2008, but if you'll remember that's when the recession hit, so we're still below what we've been in previous years, but better than last year. We've been very busy. At C&E, our employees bought almost 500 individual angels this year on their own behalf. And then C&E contributed $20,000 to assist in purchasing gifts for those that did not have angels. So we're trying to do our share in that regard. Management also and some of our employees went to Uchi to work with Mr. Soap to help with that community building. Everybody got on the bus on Saturday morning and went out there and worked all day, so that was good. And we're going to continue that. This is an initiative that C&E is sponsoring from here forward with Charlie to get into the communities and help. Save America's Treasures awarded Cultural Tourism a $150,000 grant to restore the Capitol building. The Supreme Court building exhibit design is being installed, so we have a lot of things going on the cultural tourism side. With regard to construction, the Event Center is on schedule, scheduled to open in September of next year, and the hotel is under construction and is on schedule. I looked at the room, and I think you're going to be very pleased with it. It's going to represent that era of time that we've selected. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about C&E.
Any questions, Mr. Thornton?
Well, I would say, David, you've really done a good job on Blue Ribbon Towns, and I appreciate you keeping us up to breast on it and taking care of business. I always hate to see business go under. I know they were non-profit. They didn't make any funding over there, and they lost quite a bit of funding over there. But actually, the best thing I really enjoyed about it was the Choctaws went back across the river. I really want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it as well.
Mr. Garvin?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Last Tuesday night, I understand we had some distinguished visitors coming to stay all night with the Cherokees. Can you kind of tell us the atmosphere?
Well, non-distinguished might be appropriate or might not. Yes, we had KISS there. They stayed at the hotel 2 nights, and as part of their visit here, they donated about $50,000 to musical instruments to the Tulsa Public School. So as part of that, and they're also doing an extreme makeover, so ABC was following them around all day, and they ended up at the hotel. And we put them up, and they're just great guys. They really appreciate kids, and they were a lot of fun. I'll leave it at that.
Do you think they would have come for this Hard Rock drop?
No, they wanted to go to Hard Rock, I'll have to say.
Okay.
They're rock and rollers, so they enjoyed it, and we did too.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Buzzard?
Yes, David, I want to thank C&E for letting those employees come out to the Uchi Community Building to help out there. It was a great atmosphere. We had several workers out there, and I think they all enjoyed themselves. So thank you for your support.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're welcome, and you're going to see more of it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, comments? That's great.
Okay. With regard to,
While he's pausing.
Go ahead, Ms.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to thank you for the turkeys that you also allowed for us to push out into our communities. I know that those larger nonprofits that benefited, I'm sure they put them to work, but I think that we were able to get them out to folks that wouldn't have had anything else if it hadn't been for that. So thank you.
You're quite welcome. Okay, before I move on to C and B, I have a couple of employees here that I would like to recognize. It's one of the most satisfying parts of my job is to get to provide, a good workplace, an environment that is conducive for people to excel in their careers and do well. And we have two Cherokees with us tonight, and I'll start out with Tanya Root. Tanya, if you would stand up. Tanya has worked. See, I haven't even said anything about you in the class. Tanya has worked for C&E for 16 years. And she began her career as a gaming manager when Roland opened as a bingo outpost. And throughout the years, she's worked in a lot of different roles to learn how to run a gaming property. And she's seen other GMs come in and operate, some good, some marginal, right? But now she has a chance to do it her way. And she will now be the general manager of Roland and will also oversee Salisaw. So this is a great promotion for Tanya. She's been very patient, and where patience comes success. So Tanya, we wish you well in your new endeavor, and she'll give you her cell phone number instead of mine in a few minutes. Thank you, Tanya. Okay, we also have Roger Barr. Roger, if you would stand up. Joined C&E as a pull count team associate in 2004. And Roger's done just almost everything, right, in the casino, and has learned the business and has just shown a great propensity to make good decisions, work very hard for the Cherokee Nation, and that turns in to good management at the casino. He's completing his bachelor's degree of business administration at Northeastern, and he will oversee operations of Tahlequah and Fort Gibson. And like Tanya, you will have to give your cell phone number up. So let's give Roger. Okay, so I'll move into to C&B. We close the year with our subsidiaries, our newest one, CSG, and our other two, APSC, Aerospace Products, and CCRC, which is in the construction business. And CSG has only been closed for about a month, but the operations of these three companies generated almost $1 million in profit for the nation last year. They all come into the year with good backlog, good management in place, and I guess, Brad, you were responsible for a couple of these, APSE and CCRC, under your watch. But they're very successful, and we really look for good things in the coming years for them. CSG is just getting its feet on the ground, and we'll see good things from them. The CEOs presented their annual business plans at our last board meeting, and I'm happy to say that they really have got some good business sense and good platforms, so I'm very excited about that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about C&B.
Any questions? Comments? Thank you, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And this report is Brian Collins, Cherokee Nation Industries. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening. Merry Christmas. It's been it's a great time of year. And as I know, as several have talked about, the time to reflect. And again, it's a lot it's about the kids. My report for this evening is be brief. November financials are still pending completion. We're still having a good quarter from all the progress that we've been making. Running ahead of budget in October, based on revenue of October was $8.9 million with a profit of $165,000, and continued backlog building for our 010. Local unemployment, that's great. Local employment, 458, with a Native American of 82%, and which part of it, from a standpoint of what's going on in 010, what we're seeing is we see that number increasing right now based on the order and the backlog, which is good. I'm hopefully we'll have some information on that in January and February as we're moving forward. The participation of our employees recently in the parades of Stillwell, Tahlequah, Kellyville, placing first and seconds, a lot of contribution from our employees. Take a lot of pride in working that Angel Tree program, and a program that we participated in this year that I found very close and dear to my heart that I'm going to look a little bit more into is the Oaks Mission. Actually getting to meet some of the children and providing presents for the Oaks Mission. And it's really a neat program that has a lot of merit, has a lot of integrity behind it and what's being accomplished there. The business highlights, some of the things that are going on, as I've talked about Verizon's contract is in place, and we are starting to perform on that contract. AT&T, by adding the legacy, I wanted to give a little more detail on that. In the past, we've been only shipping to approximately 21 states. Since October, we've expanded to 41 states and exporting for AT&T. Do not know the magnitude of the additions that they've added to us. AT&T doesn't forecast So we feel like there's going to be substantial increases in our telecommunications. We see that over this next year we'll have the full national platform as well as exporting in the Legacy T product line. The other things that are going on inside our aerospace, Bell Helicopter has basically doubled their backlog with us into 010. We are right now in the process of determining how many more employees, the training, space, tables. It's a huge opportunity for us in that area. Basically doubling that program in size. And just to kind of give you an idea of that program, it's right now it requires around 40 employees to manage that program. The L3, the addition of new orders coming in from the Army for tactical quiet generators, we're seeing a big spike in that going into 010 as well. Typically, we produce about 60 control boxes, and they're requiring is pushing closer to 100 control boxes per week. The CEI awarded a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract here recently, and we are going to be executing that starting in. We currently have business with them, but this is an extension for another 2 to 3 years. It's for unmanned aerial vehicles. These are target drones used for training in the Navy and in the Air Force, which is a great product line. And then our newest customer coming out of Huntsville, Security Administrative Management Directorate, which we call SAMD, and you're going to be hearing a lot about SAMD in the future. SAMD is responsible for all of the foreign military sales to our allies, and we are now a official customer and working on definitizing what our scope of work will be in supporting the repair and rework of product around the world. And so this is going to be a great opportunity for Cherokee. And I'll be touching on that more as that develops, and I appreciate Chief taking some time and meeting. And the Hard Rock hosting, they brought in their full team for a week and left with no skepticism about Cherokee's ability in supplying. That concludes my report. Our next board meeting is January 25th, and location to be determined, and I'll put out an announcement as soon as we have a location. It'll be at 2 o'clock, location to be determined. So, concludes my report.
Any questions, comments for Mr. Collins? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Next item is old business. This is an amendment to our election law, which was it was tabled last month for further analysis, and it's before us again tonight. And Ms. Cowan-Watts, I think you have the.
I think the saltwater injection well in Vian has consumed several of us, and it has been brought to my attention that something that was delivered 2 weeks ago didn't reach our desk until this last weekend. So there's some substantial issues that need to be addressed back in Rules Committee tomorrow if this body will so act to amend the agenda, and I'd like to bring those forward so that we then would bring this back to full council next month. So I'll move to table or move to send it back to rules tomorrow.
Thank you.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, it is tabled. That was quick. Now, under new business, Community Services Committee, there were a couple of resolutions that came out of that committee. The first one is a resolution extending the Section 184 loans to Cherokee citizens in Texas. Ms. Coates?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I would like to actually substitute the resolution that the council has in front of them, which more accurately reflects what was passed out of committee last month. This was not only extended to citizens living in the state of Texas, but by the acceptance of a friendly amendment from Councilor Thornton to the state of Arkansas as well. In addition, Councilman Jack Baker is also added as a sponsor on this, so I would... I don't know if I need to move for the substitution or to simply substitute it. But
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay. This resolution then extends HUD's Indian Housing Loan Guarantee Section 184 program to the states of Texas and Arkansas. This program already exists in 33 states throughout this country, so most of the states in which we have significant concentrations of Cherokee citizens already have access to this program. However, these two states only selected counties in each of them, only one county in Texas, only a handful in Arkansas, have this program available to them. And since we have significant proportions of Cherokees in those states, this resolution is a request that for the Cherokee Nation and the Principal Chief to request that HUD Section 184 program be extended to citizens in Texas and Arkansas, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
And Madam Speaker, it's of those 33 states, it's my understanding that the state of Kansas is among those that are already involved in this. I don't know if the councilwoman has any different information.
No, it's my understanding Kansas is already participating. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The second item is a resolution submitting the 2010 Indian Housing Plan to HUD. Mr. Buzzard.
Yes, this resolution is for submission for our Indian Housing Plan to HUD. Along with this resolution, it means about a $32+ million submission for the housing plan. So I make a motion this resolution be approved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? This is a resolution. Yeah. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
One. Okay, out of Resource Committee, item 3 is the resolution transferring title of tribal trust land to Mutual Help Housing. Mr. Crittenden.
Madam Speaker, this resolution will transfer title to a participant who has completed her obligations, and she was assured she would receive ownership after this home was paid off, and she's fulfilled her obligation with respect to the mutual help occupancy agreement. And so now it's time to transfer title. I would move for approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 4, this resolution authorizes a seismic study and mineral lease at Chilocco. Mr. Anglin.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. The purpose of this resolution is to authorize leasing of minerals under the Chilocco School lands properties in Kay County. The leasing will be as provided for in Public Law 99-283, and I would move for its approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 5 is authorization for C&B to enter into a management agreement with the Arkansas Riverbed Authority. Mr. Garvin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The purpose of this resolution is to authorize a management agreement between the Arkansas Riverbed Authority and the Cherokee Nation business to allow study, analysis, and construction of a transmission line in the Arkansas Riverbed from near Fort Smith to near the Three Rivers Junction in Muskogee. I move for the approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, out of the Rules Committee is a resolution electing the office of Secretary of the Tribal Council. Mr. Anglin?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Out of the rules of the procedures, the Cherokee Nation's Tribal Council provides for the office of Secretary of the Tribal Council with duties to attest to all the legislation of the Council and maintain the records and journals of the Council. And I move to submit, I'm very proud to submit Don Garvin's name as Secretary of the Council.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Garvin. Again.
I want to thank everybody for their support. Also, I want to promise 1 chicken in every pot and 2 cars in every garage.
Oh, we're going to get a garage?
Don't get those chickens from Willard. Okay, item 7 is an amendment that sets stipends for the Supreme Court justices and classifies all of our justices. Ms. Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And this makes sure that our district court judges who do a substantial amount of work for the Cherokee Nation are treated in the same class of employees and have access to the insurance and benefits as they should. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
By acclamation?
Yes, by acclamation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Out of Executive Finance Committee, item 8 is a resolution which calls for...
Already did.
What I do?
Oh. Madam Speaker,
Yes, sir.
Judge Fight is here. He might want to make a comment.
Oh, it's Judge Fight. Would you like to make a comment? And your lovely wife, too.
And Marty as well.
Okay, item 9 is the resolution confirming the nomination of Brad Carson as a board member of CMB.
Madam Speaker, there is no sponsor somehow, and he chooses to reside in Rogers County, so I would ask to be put on as a sponsor and welcome any co-sponsors.
And I will co-sponsor.
All right.
Did you?
I'd like to respond.
You getting those, Gail? Mr. Garvin also wants to sponsor.
And I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Carson, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much.
That's very good. No, congratulations. We're glad you're home safely. Item 10, this act covers assistance for emergencies and community projects, and Ms. Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Mr. Hoskins.
Well, Madam Speaker, I oppose this legislation. I think it is truly a solution in search of a problem. There's been talk that there was problems with the existing Community Assistance Act, which is being repealed. It's incredible to me that we're about to dismantle that very successful program that served so many Cherokees throughout Cherokee Nation for so many years. We're doing so not on the basis of having amassed a record of the problems with that act, but on the basis that the Chief of the Cherokee Nation believes it ought not to be that way. And I believe now, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I believe this boils down to power. This is a fraction of the budget of the Cherokee Nation that the council has spent very effectively. The Chief of the Cherokee Nation has called this a slush fund. And I believe that he made the calculation that if he called it a slush fund enough times, eventually it would come to pass that we would dismantle it. I don't think there is sufficient reason to dismantle it. Any problems that existed with that program were fixable. I certainly would concede that we could bring more scrutiny to bear on the community assistance programs that we approved over the years. That was something that was fixable. That was something that this body could have addressed had there been a genuine interest to fix it. I don't believe there was a genuine interest to fix it. I believe there was an interest in making sure that the Chief of the Cherokee Nation had additional power when it comes to approving these projects. This legislation, Madam Speaker, is unprecedented in the fact that it gives the Chief effectively a veto at the committee level, the subcommittee level. If the Chief of the Cherokee Nation says a project shouldn't go, it doesn't even get approved by the subcommittee that's created by this legislation. That, I think, flies in the face of the principles on which this government is founded. And I also happen to think it's bad public policy. The existing act was sufficient. We could have tweaked it to make it stronger. We're choosing not to do so. We're choosing instead to drive a stake through the heart of a very effective program and to give the chief more power than he ought to have. And it's not this chief that I'm concerned about necessarily. It's any chief. I believe that this legislation makes this institution, the Council of the Cherokee Nation, weaker. And we are poised to make it weaker. And I think our constituents and future councils are going to look at this and say, what reason was it? What reason was it that they dismantled that program? What reason did they have for weakening this institution? And frankly, we don't have a good reason, in my opinion. There's reasons, but they're not good. And so I would urge the rejection of this act, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hoskin. Any other? Yes, Ms. Cowan-Watts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We've debated this extensively in committee, but most of you aren't able to attend committees, so I must respectfully disagree with my colleague in that I know that in my first term and this term, I have disagreed with fundamentally how we've executed this particular program or this money into the community. I think it's been ripe with suspicion. I think that there has been lots of concerns about different donations that have been made. And I don't say that everything was under speculation, but there was enough because our Cherokee money should be spent fairly and appropriately on behalf of all tribal citizens. So unlike my colleague, I must disagree that there was political will in this body to police ourselves and to bring about reform internally. There wasn't in the fact that the way we operated in handing out money, it was handing out the Cherokee people's money for political donations, in effect, in our communities, and in essence, doing favors for individuals using tribal money. That becomes very problematic. There was a number of different donations I have been concerned about because not just that there might be mischief, but there's duplications of programs and services. We want to avoid that in order to become an efficient and strong government, to make sure that we can survive and thrive no matter what the economy's doing. We have to make sure that we are not trying to use political capital to write an easy check out of the Cherokee Nation's money, but that we make sure that for example, all community programs or nonprofits are able to go to our CATA program, for example, and have the same type of program and service and input and documented input into why they should deserve the Cherokee people's money in order to implement that out in their local community. So through this, we in no way gave up anything. I don't see that the chief, the big ominous chief was able to garner more power. I think that is fear-mongering. I think that we mutually came together as a team on behalf of the Cherokee people, and in this legislation, we have set forth rules and guidelines that not only our donations, but the chief's donations out of his budget will all be looked at in a shared capacity by both branches of government at the same time. And if this council chooses to object or the chief chooses to object, we just don't make a donation. Because it has to be vetted by the staff, and there will be research done to make sure that we didn't duplicate money, that we haven't given excess money to a particular group of individuals or that we are also making sure they're accountable for the money they've been given in the past from the Cherokee Nation. Because I bet if we all look around in our own communities, there are folks, we wonder why they continue to get money, and maybe they're politically connected. We can no longer afford to operate and do business in that manner. So I'm fully supporting this legislation and look forward to us being able to continue to have partnerships with the nonprofits in our communities and do it in a fair and equitable manner on behalf of the Cherokee people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Hoskin and then Ms. Fulbright.
Just a brief rebuttal, Madam Speaker. First of all, let me acknowledge something I should have in the first instance, which was at the committee level, the sponsor, Councilor Cowan-Watts, as well as in cooperation with the Secretary of State, did agree to a couple of friendly amendments, which I think softens the edges a bit of what I can only say is a very rough and I think misguided piece of legislation, but I am sincerely grateful that they were amenable to those changes. But, Madam Speaker, unspecified allegations of money being a slush fund, unspecified allegations of political connections, unspecified allegations that we duplicated fundings are okay to start with. It's okay to start the debate with that, but surely it can't end there. Surely, Madam Speaker, this body demands that before we dismantle a good piece of legislation, that those allegations are vetted at the committee, that they're brought out in the open, that we see if there's anything to these allegations. Maybe there are. Maybe there are. And if we amass that record and determine that we need to do something like dismantle a successful program and hand the chief the ability to effectively veto any project under the community service legislation, we should apply that scrutiny first and determine whether that's warranted. Maybe it would have been had we amassed that record. I'm not convinced it would have been. I think these allegations of slush funds are overblown. Because if there was something to it, then the allegation of slush fund would have been followed up by, and here's 20 examples of how this is a slush fund. But we never heard that. And the fact is, I think the chief believed he didn't have to, because I think he believed that this body would agree to dismantle that program, and we have. A solid majority of us are going to vote for this. But it's not that I disagree with this idea that we ought to apply more scrutiny. But let's put the scrutiny to the program before we dismantle it. Let's not make these unsubstantiated, at least to date, unsubstantiated allegations of misspending and use that as a basis for dismantling that program. Let's have a higher standard than that, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fulbright.
Thank you. I highly support this legislation for several different reasons, although at times I do disagree with the chief, and anytime he used the word slush fund, I always corrected him that it was the discretionary fund. But I'm not worried about the way this council used the money. I'm thinking of in the future, the possibility. I think this new legislation is a better way. I think it's more fair, and it will go through the subcommittee and makes equal opportunity for all. And sometimes counselors are under pressure from someone in their particular district to do something for them, and it might be very hard to tell them no. But if it went through the subcommittee and all areas of it was looked at, and it came back no, it would be easier to tell them, no, I couldn't do this. And I do support this legislation, although I never ever considered it a slush fund, but I kind of do have a problem with just one person, an individual counselor, saying this group over here gets $5,000 and this group over here gets $100. So I really do think this is a better way, or I would not have supported it. And I urge everyone to vote yes on this, and I don't think it has been abused, but I think there was a possibility that it could be. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Crittenden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I may sort of grudgingly, in a way, support this, although, because I think without this act, we may not get any help to our people in this case. I mean, we're 3 months almost into the year, and to my knowledge, we haven't helped anybody with this money. In fact, I called over one day and asked, I said, where's the form that we fill out to get some help for our people? And I was told that we don't necessarily have a form yet. It's not been prepared or whatever. And I said, what do? Just write it on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and send it over? And I guess they're all collecting in a box over there somewhere. I don't know. Sometimes when we get in a power thing, the people that suffer are the ones that needs the help. And I think that's what's happened in this case. And I guess that would be my main concern. What I'd like to see us do is let's get after this and get some money out to the people. Because, to my knowledge, we haven't helped anybody with this particular program. And that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crittenden. Anyone else? Okay, this is an act. Roll call. Yes means you support the legislation as presented.
Janelle Fulbright.
Yes.
Don Garvin.
Yes.
Seth Hoskin Jr.
No.
Tanya Gloria Jordan,
No.
Chris Soap,
Yes.
Curtis Snell, David Thornton,
Yes.
Carol Callan Watt,
Yes.
Bill Anglin,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Harley Buzzard,
Yes.
Julia Cope,
Yes.
Brad Cobb,
Yes.
Joe Crittenden,
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk, Meredith Brady.
Yes.
Yay. 2 nays.
13 yes, 2 no, motion carries. But the sponsors, I do think this needs some more work on it. Truly do. But like Mr. Crittenden said, we need to get the help out to the people. I know I'm getting all sorts of requests from Mays County, so we do need to get to work on it. Item number 11 is an amendment to the budget, be Mod 2. Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This budget mod increases the budget by over $6,600,000 to over $543 million. It includes funding for the Bonita Health Clinic of $584,000, Mill Seminary parking lot of $250,000, Department of Interior Self-Government's fund for the Marshal Service of almost $75,000, and from stimulus funds, child care of over $4,100,000, and from the health fund stimulus funds, a replacement for WW Hastings Hospital of $522,000, and direct digital controls upgrade for the health department for $989,000. And then from the Community Service Committee this afternoon, we approved $14,000 for the angel tree. However, there's only $12,000 in unappropriated funds. So therefore, since it's illegal for us to have an unbalanced budget by statute, then I respectfully request that be reduced to the $12,000 for the unappropriated funds. And I make a motion for its approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
By acclamation.
By acclamation, excuse me. Okay, item 12 is a resolution authorizing us to submit an application to the EPA. Who has that one?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is very exciting. Our environmental services team has applied and should successfully receive the $66,000 with no match to the EPA for the atmospheric mercury monitoring services contract, which would make us the only mercury monitoring station in EPA Region 6, which includes like Oklahoma and Texas. I can't remember the other states, but anyway. I think it's Colorado. So and this will look at not only air quality, but it also will look at mercury deposition in our surface waters. So I move for approval.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Are there any announcements? Yes, Mr. Anglin.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'd like to recognize my daughter who drove all the way from Sperry to make sure her old dad was still working at the age of 60.
Well, are you going to get it? Mr. Buzzard.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to introduce a very special person in my life. It's my wife, Cynthia. Cynthia, would you hold your hand up? Thank you.
Cynthia, you could stand so we could see you. Yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Madam Speaker, I got to see him briefly this morning, and I might catch him before he goes to bed tonight, but my son turns 13 today. He's a big teenager, and I want to wish him happy birthday because on the off chance he's watching the stream video.
Happy birthday. Mr. Thornton.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'd like to introduce a bright and intelligent young lady from the Sequoia District. Her name is Miss Lacey Horn. Appreciate her being here.
Crittenden.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I forgot to do something a while ago on item 3. I hope we can make this part of the minutes. Ms. Fishinghawk wanted to be a sponsor on that particular piece of legislation also, and I forgot to ask that when I was talking about it. So if that could just be reflected in the minutes, I'd appreciate it.
Sure will. Melanie, you'll do that, won't you? Ms. Calm Watts?
Thank you. I just want to thank all the staff and facilities and Angela Drew's group for the very thankless but festive job of our Christmas parades. They were freezing cold, almost every one of them I participated in, and I heard the same for the others. So thank you for all the driving around and the cold weather that they endured to make sure that the Cherokee Nation was represented at all the fun Christmas parades.
Good. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam Speaker. The Cherokee Nation Youth Choir has a concert at Tahlequah Public Library this Thursday at 5:30.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
The Cherokee National Youth Choir has a Christmas concert at the Tahlequah Public Library this Thursday at 5:30.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Before we adjourn, I just want to wish everyone, on behalf of the council, everyone a Merry Christmas, and Chief Smith, thank you for those gifts.
Go to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Oh, we have the Tribal Council has a social at the Tribal Council House tomorrow, and there's lots of good food from 11 to 4.